Recognizing emotional abuse in romantic relationships. Some abuse does not leave bruises, some of it leaves doubt, fear, confusion, a constant feeling that something is wrong but you cannot prove it. That is emotional abuse. And it is one of the hardest kinds of abuse to recognize and one of the hardest to leave. Because from the outside, it can look like nothing is happening, but on the inside, you are shrinking. Today, I want to talk about how to recognize emotional abuse in romantic relationships. Not from a textbook, from real life, from what it actually feels like when you are in it. This is not about calling your partner a monster, and it is not about labeling every hard relationship as abusive. This is about recognizing patterns that slowly take your voice away. One of the earliest signs is walking on eggshells. You start carefully choosing your words. You think through every sentence before you speak. You check their mood before you talk about anything important. You rehearse conversations in your head before they even happen. And over time, that turns into silence. Not because you have nothing to say, but because it feels safer not to say it. Another sign is that your reality keeps getting questioned. You remember something happening one way. They insist it never happened, or that you are exaggerating, or that you are too sensitive. You start doubting your memory. You start saying, maybe I misunderstood. You start replaying conversations in your head, trying to figure out where you went wrong. This is not normal disagreement. This is someone slowly unteaching you how to trust your own mind. Emotional abuse often includes emotional punishment. They may not hit you, but they punish you with silence, withdrawal, coldness, disappearing when you upset them. Affection becomes conditional. Love becomes something you have to earn back, and you start working overtime to keep the peace. Not because you are manipulative, but because you want to feel safe again. Sometimes emotional abuse hides behind charm. In public, they may seem kind, funny, generous. People may admire them. People may say you are so lucky, and you start thinking maybe the problem really is me. But behind closed doors, attention turns into control. Concern turns into jealousy. Protection turns into ownership. Another common sign is isolation. It is rarely obvious at first. They discourage certain friendships. They create tension around your family. They make you feel guilty for spending time with others. They always seem upset when your world does not revolve around them. And slowly, your world gets smaller. Not because you chose that, but because every connection outside the relationship feels like a problem. Another sign is feeling responsible for their emotions. If they are in a bad mood, it is your fault. If they lash out, you pushed them. If they apologize, it comes with a list of what you did to cause it. You take on the job of keeping them calm, stable, happy, and you fail at it over and over again because that job was never yours to carry. Your pain also gets minimized. You bring something up that hurt you. They joke about it. They dismiss it. They tell you that other people have it worse. And slowly, your own pain gets smaller in your own mind until you no longer trust that your hurt even counts. Now, here is something important that needs to be said. Sometimes feeling afraid, quiet, hypervigilant, or unable to speak your mind is not coming from your current relationship. Sometimes it comes from your past. Sometimes you learned to walk on eggshells in childhood, or in earlier relationships, or in homes where disagreement was not safe, where emotions were punished, where love felt conditional. When you grow up in that kind of environment, your nervous system learns survival patterns. Stay quiet, keep the peace, scan for danger, do not upset anyone, do not ask for too much. So later, even in normal, adult relationships, you might flinch at raised voices. You might shut down during disagreement. You might panic when someone seems distant. You might feel unsafe around normal human conflict. That does not always mean you are being abused now. Sometimes it means your body is remembering something old. Trauma can make healthy discomfort feel like danger. It can make neutral behavior feel threatening. It can make you afraid to disagree, even with kind people. And this is where things can get confusing, because the internal feelings can look the same: fear, shutdown, overthinking, walking on eggshells. The difference is in the pattern. In a healthy relationship, when you speak up, you are not punished for it. When you explain your triggers, the other person tries to understand. When you set boundaries, they might struggle at first, but they try to respect them. Conflict leads to repair. In emotional abuse, speaking up leads to backlash. Explaining your pain leads to blame. Setting boundaries leads to retaliation. Conflict leads to fear, not safety. If the fear is being created again and again by present behavior, that matters. Another sign of emotional abuse is feeling afraid to leave even when things are bad. Not always because of physical danger, but because of fear. Fear of what they will do to themselves, fear of ruining their life, fear of being alone, fear that you cannot survive without them. That fear is often planted slowly over time. Emotional abuse does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it just looks like exhaustion. You feel tired all the time. You feel like you are constantly failing. You feel like you are never enough. You lose interest in things you used to love. You stop recognizing the person you used to be. And you keep telling yourself that things will get better once you fix whatever is wrong with you. But emotional abuse is not a communication problem. It is a power problem. It is one person slowly gaining control while the other slowly loses themselves. Let me say this clearly. You do not have to prove you are being abused in order to leave. You do not need bruises. You do not need a perfect explanation. You do not need permission. If you feel afraid in your relationship, if you feel small, if you feel like your voice has disappeared, that is enough to take seriously. Leaving emotional abuse is hard because the chains are invisible. There are no obvious shortcuts to clarity, just attachment, confusion, hope, history. And hope is powerful, but hope alone does not heal a pattern that requires your silence to survive. If you are listening to this and something inside your chest feels tight, I want you to hear this. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not too sensitive for wanting to feel safe with the person you love. You deserve a relationship where your presence does not feel like a burden. You deserve to feel safe to speak. You deserve love that does not come with fear attached. If you are already out of a relationship like this, it makes sense if you are still untangling it. It makes sense if you still question yourself. It makes sense if trust feels confusing. That was not weakness. That was survival. And if you are still in it, you do not have to decide everything today, but you are allowed to start telling yourself the truth quietly. That quiet truth is where your strength starts growing back. If this video helped you put words to something you could not explain before, you are not alone, and you were never the problem for wanting to feel safe. Thank you for being here with me. And you can find more grounded resources on healing, trauma, parenting, and emotional wellness at www.compassionatelivingbooks.com. You are not alone in this.